Welcome to the market wrap. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for March 12th, 2019. SPY up 0.36% and the Qs up 0.55. Now, we talked about yesterday the reversal here, erasing the 2 days of selling on the Qs and SPY and basically back to bullish, looking for some kind of pullback to initiate the bullish entry. We have one here. It's not a good one, but I guess over this hourly is okay. I'd like to see a better one. If we got one on the daily, that would be even better, but the bias is bullish. Okay, just need some kind of nice pattern here to continue. SPY has yet to clear. Q showing a little bit of relative strength. We are bullish across all time frames here on the Qs and SPY as we were yesterday. So just continuing higher. Maybe on the SPY it'll run into some resistance and we'll get some kind of reaction, but that would help give us that pullback that we'd like to see, right? And that'll give us a better entry point into the Qs and SPY long. All right. So just a couple quick things wanted to talk about today, and that's primarily about recovering from mistakes. Okay, so mistakes are bound to happen. Sometimes they're just an honest mistake, that you weren't aware of something, or that sometimes your emotions get the better of you. It's just bound to happen, right? As flawless as we would like to be about our trading, and we definitely will want to strive for that, it's just going to happen where we just make honest mistakes, or emotions get the better of us. Okay, so I guess today we basically have both examples that I wanted to go over with you. So one was the HPE. I thought this was a pretty good gap. Had it as my favorite gap down today. And then what I wasn't aware of is that part of that gap was caused by it being ex-div. So when something goes ex-dividend, the dividend is subtracted from the price of the symbol. I think in this case it was 11 cents. And so it's actually opening 11 cents higher. The gap is not as good as I thought as far as clearing this and clearing the 200. And so we played it. Okay, that's going to happen. That's fine. I had a call underneath this bottoming tail here to play it lower. You see it did get some follow through, eventually came all the way back up, and then just went sideways from there. Okay, that's fine. So what if you get into a situation like this, you can do one of two things. If it's working for you, right, you can look to just trail it, break even. That's what we did, right? So that we don't want to lose on this. I know it's not as powerful as a gap, as good as a gap as I would have liked. I don't want to lose on it. If it happens to work some more in our favor, then that would be great. But we just trailed it to break even. Okay, eventually trailed us out on the HPE. That's fine. If you get in something, you realize it's not that good, it's working against you, you can immediately go to like a bar by bar trail. Okay, so let's say I got in it underneath the lows, and then I realized that it was ex-div, right? And so say I can immediately go, instead of using like the high of the day, I'll just go to this bar, the high of this bar. Right, if it starts to work for me, okay, even better. Maybe I get trailed out there, or I actually get a little bit of a profit. All right, so if you run into a situation where you get in something, you definitely don't want to lose more than an R, but you can go straight to a bar by bar management. You get in something by mistake, or maybe you oversize by mistake. You can take the amount that you oversize by, immediately look for some way to trail that. Who knows? Maybe it works. And maybe even if you're oversized, maybe 2 or 3 times, you end up actually with a really nice play. So you don't want to necessarily just jump out, right? Sometimes it'll be hard to fight the urge, especially if it's a really bad mistake, if you're really oversized and you don't want to see it go against you and turn into disaster. But for the most part, if you can, give it the opportunity to work for you, right? Sometimes those mistakes, they don't always have to be a loss. All right, so on the HPE, just a mistake. The gap wasn't as good as I thought it was based on where it was gapping, just because it was actually partially ex-div. Usually ex-div gaps don't get that much follow through. As you can see, this actually ended up closing as a narrow body bar here on the HPE. Okay. On the ADT, we had a play on. Now, this was a real gap that did report earnings, and we played it on this 2-minute sell setup here. Okay, so that was working out pretty nice. Was up about an R, okay, on the ADT. And then as we got into lunch, just got impatient. Really didn't have any reason necessarily to trail it because I was looking for new lows as a target. And it didn't get to target 1, so until I get to target 1 usually, or I'm not supposed to change anything, right? And I decided to go ahead and trail it over this hourly bar, okay, which it definitely trailed, but it would not have stopped. Okay, the numbers, I'll go over them real quick here on the ADT, just so you know what the numbers were on the ADT was. This sell setup here. Sell setup is a series of higher lows in the context of a downtrend, and then a break of a previous higher low, right, lower. All right, so this was 670 by 680. Okay, triggered right there. Okay, I got a little bit of slippage there on the way in. It is on an uptick. That's fine. I just want to be in it, right? And even with that, it's not a big stop. Okay, so, and then we were up like about an R, and then we ended up trailing it over this area. Now, here's the part that gets kind of dangerous, right? Especially if I know that I'm kind of deviating from my plan, right? Is that what happens? What do you think I'm thinking when this puts in this green bar, takes it out, and then I see this red bar? What do you think I'm thinking? You know, for me, what used to be the case more so is that I would think, well, oh man, I just got shaken out. They knew where my order was, you know, that kind of thing. And now I should get back in, right? I should just reshort because it's going to work. I don't want it to work without me. And then when I would do that and there's no pattern, I'm just jumping back in out of fear of missing out. As soon as I see this, I would say, oh no, now it's back up. And then I would kill it for a small loss or break even or whatever and jump back out, right? And so, or, you know, end up taking the loss there because I put my stop there, right? And so then I now, you know, I was supposed to be a break-even trail. Now I'm down a little bit on this, and I see this come in again, and I think, okay, now it's going to go. That was the shakeout, right? And then I jump back in, and then it moves back up a little bit, and I think, oh no, I didn't wait for a good pattern, and, you know, now I'm going to take, I don't want to take another loss on something which I shouldn't have in the first place. So it just creates a scenario where you start to kind of doubt yourself and you're not really, you know, committed to the play. So that is kind of the trap that you run into. Now, where was the actual good place to re-enter, to replay here was right here. We actually get a base with a shakeout. Okay, so we actually get some kind of setup because the uptrend here on the 5-minute breaks, right? It'd be great to anticipate this, but I was waiting for this to break, right? And then we got follow through, and then we got a base. Very small winner, but it was a very tight stop. So we got the shakeout here, right? And then finally triggered there, and then just kind of got a little bit here into the close. I mean, small winner, right? Just enough to make this a little bit up and probably cover the commissions, right? The fees on this. But I just want to bring it to your attention that, you know, when a lot of times when you make a mistake, it results in more mistakes, right? So you just want to be careful. This, I know, was just getting a little bit impatient. So the difference between the stop was here, right? 680, right? Now, if I just left it alone and not mess with it, then I still would have gotten out here, 656. I just had a limit there to cover that, right? So I think it's just something to be aware of. I think with over time, I think you can kind of get some experience that not let the kind of our inner fool kind of take over and start to dictate your entries and exits, right? You just have to wait until you actually get that nice pattern. And what we got here, equal highs, and then we get a nice shakeout. So it's basically just a breakdown with a shakeout there, okay, on the ADT. Okay, I mean, not huge plays, you know, not a really nice day. I thought follow through was pretty tough, especially throughout the day. I thought afternoon there wasn't that much either. I thought some of the room members really brought some of the best plays, really spot on, really nice highlights there from the room members, someone had put out this breakout here on the SWCH and the VHI. So you know who you are if you brought these. And then the VHI, very nice gap down, really nice breakdown there. That's a sell setup. You know who you are if you're the one that gave this to the room. So really nice contributions. I got Sammy also had a really nice call on the MOMO long this morning, right up into the highs as the target. So some good stuff. You know, I think you know, the thing is that we're not necessarily going to get all the winners every day, right? And there will be some days where you make a mistake. You just get impatient or you make an honest mistake like you showed here. The important thing is keeping those in control and regaining control of yourself when you make those mistakes. Okay, so thought today was just a good day to go over that, and especially if we start to have some fewer opportunities with earnings season being over, that you really don't want to have kind of big mistake-filled days because there's going to be less opportunities to make it back. All right, but I hope you did well today. All right, so we'll see what the market brings us tomorrow. We are bullish. That's not good timing to enter into longs. We'll wait for that pullback. All right, and see what we get tomorrow. All right, have a great evening.